So before we start, once again, thanks to Dr. Bhatia for a lovely forum. And I remember the lovely video he showed that really inspired me a lot, that we are the problem on this planet. We have to sort out first ourselves and then sort out the rest of the things. And also, one thought on the ESG being included in the CSR charter. Few years earlier, when I took on the ESG role, the first thing which struck me was, why are there two different things, ESG and CSR? Because the end point is supposed to be the same. And then slowly dawned upon me that CSR is a mandate as per the company law. There's no way avoiding it. But yes, as years went by, I think the better sense has prevailed on all the companies which are following CSR to include ESG mandates also. Because the main difference between the both is CSR is about intent, about philanthropy, about doing good. But now the world needs more than that. World needs accountability, world needs evidence, and world needs documentation. So with that, we are now having a panel on ESG. I'll take my seat and we'll start with one round of introduction by the panelists.
Namaskar everyone, I'm Dr. Pramod Pandey and taking care of health and safety engineering part globally, Asia Pacific and Europe and USA. And apart from that, merger acquisition and divestment globally, due diligence. Thank you.
Namaskar everyone. My name is Hinal Shah. I represent a non-profit called Apnalaya. We work with the urban vulnerable communities of Mumbai. I am responsible for the sustainability, the donor stewardship and communications with a little bit of advocacy at Apnalaya. It's a pleasure to be here, everybody.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tanush Shivani. I'm the CEO founder of a company called Vishwa Carbon. We are an AI-driven platform that provides end-to-end decarbonization for all your sustainability needs. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is K. Venkatesan. I am representing a company called VHX Vabag, a pure play water engineering company based out of Chennai. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Gauravi Lokhandwala. I work for Applied Materials, talk about the semiconductor, and we are there. So I'm from the semiconductor industry, and we are in India from last 20 years. And I head Environment, Health, Safety and Sustainability function for Applied Materials, India and Asia. Thank you.
Personally, speaking about the panel members, I don't think there can be a better panel formation with such diverse and experienced people in our panel today. And with that, I come to the first question for the audience, for the panel, is that why ESG is central to long-term success of any organization? And for this, I would request Mr. KV and Henal to give your perspectives from the corporate angle and also from the grassroots legitimacy.
Thank you, Navinder. Due to paucity of time, though this is a big subject to talk and it takes time, I want to give you certain bullet points why it is so central and a success for the future. See, from corporate CSR and facilities perspective, ESG and sustainability have become central to long-term success because they now directly influence operational efficiency, compliance, stakeholder trust, and cost structure. From the CSR point of view, I have 5 points. One is shift from philanthropy to measurable impact, which is nothing but today CSR is no more about donations. It must align with the core business risks and community outcomes. Number 2 is license to operate. Strong social engagement reduces community resistance, project delays, and reputational risks. Third, inclusive growth expectations. Regulators and investors expect companies to demonstrate real social value creation. Finally, the stakeholder trust and brand equity. Purpose-led CSR builds durable goodwill with customers, employees, and local communities. Therefore, ESG-linked reporting frameworks like SEBI's BRSR pushing CSR outcomes into mainstream business disclosures. From the facilities and operational point of view, again I have 5 points to discuss. One is energy and cost efficiency. Nothing but green buildings, energy management, water optimization, significantly reducing the operational cost. Carbon and resource management. Facilities are major contributors for scope 1 and scope 2 emissions, and this is critical for net zero goals too. Thirdly, regulatory compliance and risk reduction. Environmental, safety and waste norms are tightening across India. And finally, asset value protection, which is climate resilient infrastructure, protects long-term property and infrastructure investment. To sum up the bottom line on this, CSR builds social legitimacy, while sustainable facilities drive operational efficiency and decarbonization. This is my take.
Very well brought out.
Thank you, Mr. KV. I'll just add a slightly different perspective to what he said. While everything that he mentioned talks about corporate excellence and sustainability, but what we believe at Apnale is long-term success is integral and is important and is achieved only when the economy and society grow together and move hand in hand. When there is development happening at one end and when there are undeserved communities who are getting pushed back into poverty and deprivation, there can be no ESG and there cannot be development. So what we try to do is we try to build resilience within the communities. We build ownership by bringing ESG frameworks in a different sense. So we don't talk about frameworks or policies. We try to bring about a sort of a community-led movement, which helps in development, which helps in achieving the corporate goals that he spoke of. Yes, it creates a total different impact on the society as a whole, leading to overall development. So yes, I hold my thought here.
Audience, did you note that while Mr. Venkatesan specified on corporate responsibility, Hemal was focusing on the social responsibility. And C, R and S, if you put them together, become CSR. Please give a round of applause for this. Coming to the next question, I would ask, yeah. Okay.
No, I mean, I think overall perspective, what we talk about is a great on the social responsibilities as well as on the ESG perspective. However, overall, as we lead about social and the environmental, I think it was a great combination of both the panelists to talk about the perspective on how do we kind of drive the overall impact to the environment. And CSR is very well connected, and there is nothing difference between ESG and CSR.
Thank you. Thank you for sounding whatever the panelists and me have been telling, and great contribution. Thank you so much. So the next question is to Gauravi and Henal again. We have environmental and social challenges which are increasingly becoming complex with digitalization also taking place. So how you see these challenges and what do you see the future holding for them?
Understand. So as we talk about the environmental challenges and the social challenges, India is going very fast towards environmental challenges, which talk about climate changes. First is air, water and waste, and GHG. These are the four basic fundamental as far as the environment piece of ESG is concerned, right? So when we talk about air pollution, Delhi was an example where the sir recently pointed out that the people health is not even getting impacted in India, but the other part of the world as well. When we talk about the water, Punjab is one of the state in India where they have drawn out 150% of the water from the ground for the crop. That's another climate change that as an environment we are talking about. When we talk about the overall climate perspective on the waste generation from the industries, I think the TSDF sites are getting just piled up. We are not having enough solution to recycle, reuse materials, and how do we do that more? What is the recycling methodology? How the processing happens, right? So that build a lot of pressures on the environmental perspective. If we talk about the hot summers, 2024 was the year where we had the hottest summer in an entire India. which kind of leads to again a climate change. And if we talk about 365 days in a year, we had 322 days last year where the impact of the climate was felt very, very high. It could be heat, it could be rain, or it could be just a winter perspective, right? So the kind of a climate impact that India is going towards is very, very high. And how does that impact overall industrialization? Too much rain in a Godhra kind of a place of a Gujarat, it's not allowing Tata to build a plant. Simple thing, right? Where we have a lot of, and it has a direct impact on the industry where the industries are set up by thinking that, hey, here is a more water and here is a less water based on the kind of industry. But the amount of rain which is coming in some part of in India is just, industries are just getting flooded. In some of the areas when we talk about the generation of a heat and the humidity, sensitivity, so Bangalore used to be known for less humidified area, right? But last year in 2024 and 2025, it was high humid area, which means the production which we were having for many of the aerospace industries had to put on hold, because the adhesives were not sticking on their slides, right? So this kind of climate controls and climate changes which are happening in India, it's having a high impact not only on the environment but also on the social responsibilities and impact that we have.
Thank you, Gauravi. I'll just like to add here, as India is developing towards progress, as we talk about smart cities, as we talk about development, as we talk about we want to be one of the fastest growing nations, with that comes another set of problems, another set of people who are left behind with greater vulnerabilities, more exposed to climate risks, more exposed to healthcare, more exposed to risks of being left out, without lack of access to sanitation. There are, we had a recent study wherein it was quoted that 41% of the women living in the communities are anemic. They do not have access to basic healthcare services. There are there is just one toilet for 900 individuals in communities. So as we talk about growth and development, these issues are growing multifold. And if they are not addressed with equity, with consideration, with an inclusive space of development, it's going to be a great challenge to have equitable development. So bringing together the social, along with the governance, along with the economic development would be a right approach, wherein we work with our partners to co-create solutions. That could be one of the solutions, wherein we work with the organizations, the corporates, to bring together these challenges, to place them out with our research studies, wherein greater change and a focus can happen. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Very pertinent point. Normally, we lose sight of the social aspects when we talk about environmental changes. My next question to Dr. Pramod and to Henal, and maybe Tanish can also chip in. How do you think ESG as a function will influence India's development model going forward?
Great question. So first of all, thanks to Dr. Bhatia and team for this wonderful opportunity. Delighted to be here. Coming to this, is still long way to go. These are the things, process and system, policy level, plan part is there, but ground implementation is still lacking. Point is, BRSR now 2023 onwards, top 1,000 company they have asked, you have to report. But if you go through the report and deep dive the report, there are so many here and there. And greenwashing is the one of the things, but you can recognize. There are, apart from the compliance, and sometimes we are thinking about ethical and moral will comes first. There are certain things we have to assure and check our data itself, it's accurate or not. I understand those are, started somewhere we have to start, and after certain period of time we have to mature and report accurately. But still, 2023 now, we are in the 2026. Still, if you go through the BRSR report, there are so many here and there. Data is misleading. What they are doing, they are not declaring declaration is the something different. Point is where we are lacking. If we talk about, I'm always thinking about Viksit Bharat 2047. And if we talk about Viksit Bharat, first and foremost important thing is the health and safety of the people. That's most key element. Environment is the jaan hai to jahan hai, but jahan hai to jaan bhi hai. So both are the correlated each other. How to balance in that particular angle, that I think we have to focus. Most of the big companies, they are doing very good, but what about MSME? Without involvement and maturity of the MSME, we are not able to achieve. And they are most of the larger, area. Big companies, they are doing good, but how they are transferring their technology and leveraging the knowledge to other people, that is lacking. So again, entire things, if we sum up, we have to think about, PDC approach. P part is there, planning part is there, but do and C part is they still lacking. Do is the whatever they plan, they have to implement on the ground. It should be practicable, doable. But C is the another most important key element, measurement and monitoring of the processes. If we cannot monitor, if we cannot track, we cannot improve. As simple as that. But that is the one of the area where most of the things are missing. Act will come later. So these should be, holistic approach, broader picture, and that need to be adapted.
Thank you. Tanish, any views on this? Because you are founder of a carbon company.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. So if you look at the landscape today, we have BRSR framework in India, right? Now, if you see the adoption of that, that is limited to the top 1,000, 1,500 listed companies that are there. They have the budgets to manage that, maintain that, and now it's slowly creeping down the supply chain because they're mandating their suppliers to become more green as well. There's also international pressure that is creeping in. Very interestingly, yesterday I met 3 companies that are going IPO and are getting listed, and I was pitching them my software to become more like do this as like a pre-IPO kind of exercise to start building their ESG functionality in-house. And they said, we are already managing 40 compliances, why should we take a headache of another one to get it done? They were like, when the time comes when we are actually mandated to do so, we will spend we will do it at the last minute, spend 3 months, get experts and get it done. Right? So if you see, like right now, ESGs is mandated for the top 1,000 to 1,500 companies, but if we actually want to accelerate on that, the ESG landscape needs to have like a much stronger policy, a much stronger compliance push, even though it should not be looked at just as a compliance. It should be, sustainability is a lot more than compliance. But for India to accelerate and for ESG to be aligned with the net zero 2070 goal, it definitely has to have a stronger compliance push, because until like there is a stick behind you that's waiting to hit you in terms of your cost implication, no one is going to really take that ahead. Thank you.
Mr. Venkatesan, continuing from where Tanish had left on the compliance aspect, since you've been qualified in IGBC and other certifications, and you've done very well for your company, could you tell how important it is for everybody, to grasp these essentials going forward?
Definitely. Before answering this question, just I would like to understand from the audience, how many of you have working in a building where it is platinum rated, either LEED or CAA IGBC rated green buildings? Anybody? 1, 2. Okay, this is from the panel. You are. How many of you are working in a building which is water positive?
I think many of us haven't even thought about that aspect.
How many of you are working in a building which is net zero in energy? That gentleman. Great. How many of you are working in a building which has got platinum rating, Arogya World as well as CAA IGBC in employee health and well-being? Maybe 1. Just proud to inform you that we, VA Tech Vabag corporate headquarter, which is a global headquarter, which has got all these ratings. It is not a certificate shopping. People who are worked in that building might be knowing what kind of standards are being maintained to achieve that level of certification, to that level of perfection, not only the employee satisfaction, but also the building performance, which is going to take on a sustainability part of it. To name a few, today, outcome-based certifications not design intent. Moved beyond intent-based green ratings to verified operational performance, energy, water, carbon, and waste. Require periodic recertification. It is not a checkbox, just a tick mark it and go away. Performance are based on the parameters, let it be AI driven or driven practically, and ensuring the data are so natural and it is the fact of it. Number two, which is very strong based and leadership oversight. Today, ESG is board level agenda. I don't know how many of your companies board is talking about it, but any good corporates, now ESG has become a board level agenda with a defined key performance indicators and accountability. Even there are certain organizations, executives' compensation are linked to sustainability outcomes. 3, integrated disclosures with financial materiality. Aligned IGBC and sustainability metrics with SEBI BRSR and financial reporting. 4th is independent third-party verification. Not only verification by the respective certified agency, third-party verifications is also happening. Strengthen the audit rigor for green building and ESG certification. And randomized compliance checks, digital monitoring, reduce the certificate shopping. 5th is life cycle and scope coverage. And finally, continuous improvement culture everywhere. Encouraging companies to move up from rating level, from silver, then gold, then platinum, like this, near net zero, and positive, either energy positive or water positive. So these are all different levels are there to make the company to gradually grow level by level. And finally, the bottom line which I would like to convey under this is from a CII, IGBC or any regulations or governance point of view, ESG stops being a tick box when governance demands measurable outcomes, verified data, life cycle accountability, and leadership ownership. The future of credible ESG lies in performance-driven certifications, not paper-driven certifications.
Thank you. Catching to your last words, performance-driven certification. I now am forced to ask Pramod again. How do you ensure through your audits that these performance-driven outcomes are actually achieved and we don't go towards greenwashing or don't dilute the kind of audits that we are supposed to do? And what are the risks attached to it?
Thank you. Just to give you a company perspective, as a Dutch company, if you see, Netherlands is the below sea level, and we are following these parameters which came in picture since many decades, more than 2 decades. All are the rigorous monitoring platform. Since beginning, we are monitoring each element, and there are some internal and third-party assurance. First, we are verifying our internally what went wrong, what went right, and if anything missed out, what was the rationale and what was the why it's not to fulfill the requirement. Then third party is the another. There are reputed some of the party which already associated with the company, and they are verifying a quarterly basis. There are a 2-3 level, trigger point and checking mechanism where we are analyzing our data. The data checking online, but same time we are conducting annual basis audit of the particular sites. The first and far most important point is people should aware about each and everything. Not only reporting person, those are responsible, other people also, they have to understand each and everything, including line manager, including your leadership team, including your entire workforce. So these are the certain things, and training is the one of the key element. If one person is knowledgeable and he has responsibility, if he has some medical emergency, if he has gone here and there, very difficult to find the data. That we have an alternative option. That step by step we have a structured process in the place where we are monitoring each and everything rigorously, and we have RASI matrix. If someone person is there, like if something related to just take example of water. In that case, this is not responsibility of the sustainability or ESG person. It's the responsibility of the facility. They're supposed to answer. They have to take accountability. So that kind of mechanism already in the place.
So I think, Pramod, what you're mentioning is the ownership and accountability is foremost. Gauravi, you've been into the semiconductor industry and you're looking after EHS there. How important is governance and audits for you, and how do you see that inspiring the audience today?
Absolutely. So rules and regulations and the policy, these are the three factors which play a very important role for any of the industries. And when I talk about semiconductor industries, we do not have enough rules and regulations stipulated. For pharmaceutical, if it is an R&D center, if it is in a pollution control board, it comes into the yellow category or orange category, right? Whereas for the semiconductor industry, it's not been listed. So we are in a process of working with the government agencies through various channels, where we actually tell them that, hey, this is what our pollutants are, and we want you to measure on this. This is what the amount of water we needed to run our manufacturing plants or R&D center, and you should ask us to implement ZLD. So we are at a level where we work with the government agencies, where we say that, hey, this is what the pollutants semiconductor industries has. This is what we will do, the dilution factor. Simple example, how many of us understand the system called abatement system? None, right? That's a unique feature of semiconductor industry. So semiconductor industry uses a lot of gases. It could be the chlorinated, fluorinated, nitrogen and fluorination mixtures, the flammables, the ODS substance, and many more, right? So when it goes into the system, the amount of gases comes out are equally number. Like the utilization actually into the system is 5%, and 95% just comes out as a pure gas, right? And those gas have to be abated before it goes into the environment. And that's called the abatement system. So there are different methodologies that the different semiconductor industry use it. Some called our plasma-based abatement, fuel-based abatement, electrical-based abatement, where we actually break the chemical down, identify the chlorine, fluorine, the different content. Either it gets diluted to the water and treated into the ZLD, and the other component which gets into the scrubber system and gets into the air, right? So how many of us in India understand this whole ecosystem of a semiconductor industry? And that's when we have to work with the government to make them understand how exactly semiconductor industries are coming up in India and what kind of pollutants we are going to bring in. And with that, what kind of controls that would be needed for semiconductor industries, and what are the measurements we have to provide it to the government, right? So that's where we are in.
Thank you, Gauravi. I think your insights also give me direction for the next question, is on innovation and how we use competitiveness to drive sustainability. For this, I would request Tanish, since you are into that space now, and followed by Gauravi again, you can give some examples of innovation.
Perfect. So if you look at sustainability, definitely to get the push, it should be looked at like from a government standpoint, it is a compliance, but it should all, from a business standpoint, should be looked as a sustainable intelligence layer, right? Now, if you see the people who will shine in the next decade, the companies that will have the competitive advantage in the next decade are the ones that will integrate sustainability, both horizontal and vertical, in their organization, right? Because sustainability is not just a one department or a one-person job out here. Now, if you see the core concepts that are emerging in this market, one, measurement is becoming infrastructure. Now, you see we have the free trade agreement with Europe. Combined with that, we also have CBAM, which is another compliance which affects all our exports, steel on the hard to abate sectors, which are being exported to Europe, right? So carbon accounting, life cycle assessment, environmental product declarations, all become very stringent mandates that now companies have to comply with, right? So now that is one layer. Second is now banks are mandating their vendors to become, to have net zero targets, have sustainability targets to ensure that they are complying. So at the bank level, that they are complying with all their suppliers in place as well, right? The second aspect is operational efficiency. So sir here is a very great example of how operational efficiency is also benefiting the organization. So that is also becoming a core theme where sustainability is not just a compliance, but is being looked at as a profit lever as well, right? And then the third one is new collating emerging markets that are coming up along with sustainability domain as well. The first one is carbon credits. That's a new big sector. Everyone is talking about it. Not as much as AI, but a lot of people are talking about it. Second one is low carbon manufacturing, circular economy products that are coming about as well. So if you see, there's a full infrastructure that is being created. Right now, if you see from an India level, there are different mandates. There is no strong government push, but the pressure is coming from other places. Either your customer is pressuring you, like we have a customer in Pune, which is a retail store, where the customers demand sustainability of them is why that they are focusing on embedding sustainability into the ecosystem. We have a customer in Bangalore, which is a travel company, where the HSBC Bank is mandating them to reduce their carbon footprint by giving them a rating on whether if they have a good rating, they get more business, right? So when it affects your bottom line and when sustainability is not just looked as a compliance but as a profit lever is when we can drive the innovation. And AI plays a very crucial role in the full data collection, data processing, and helping you analyze this. That's what we do at Vishwa Carbon, building those efficiencies where we reduce the time it takes to manage all of these compliances and help you with the data validation processing and to ensure that you don't need large teams. So we are sort of reducing the burden of the compliance on the entire sustainability department by creating these efficiencies. And if you see how AI is progressing, I read some article yesterday which said that now there is a small model that fits on a 4 GB RAM, which is built by China. So it's just getting better and better. Thank you.
Gauravi, quick one in the interest of time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Innovation is a backbone of any of the industries where we have to talk about the ESG and sustainability, right? So innovation, if I talk about the semiconductor industries, it's an R&D center where we do all the kind of innovations. And those innovations are mostly on the gases, on the amount of material that we use it, right? If we talk about the innovation, how do we absorb more gases in the semiconductor industries, which would not let the ODS substance to go out or would not let abatement system to work more so that the efficiency to be managed or to be evaluated in a terms of how much ODS is coming out, what is a SOx, what is a NOx, what is a PVM, how much nitrogen is going out, or what is an ammonia content which is going out to the atmosphere, right? So innovation needs to start at the production level where you are putting a new product into the system or you are introducing a new wafer or new chip into the environment or for the utilization of a human being. That's the time we have to have a product which is also sustainable and the innovation should start at the R&D center to the manufacturing and then it should go to the environment, right? So that is the way the innovation would be looking into the ESG perspective as far as the semiconductor industries are concerned.
Okay. On that, I think we also need to quickly cover as to what is the role of investors, donors and consumers. Hinal, since fundraising is one of your fortes, could you just speak about this?
While my fellow panelists have spoken about various business points, talking about innovation, we in the non-profit space also thrive towards innovation. We derive innovation models which focus on the communities. So profit alone cannot achieve your goals, but through models like collectivization, we've also done a social return on investment study, which talks about when your donor invests 1 rupee into the program, it gives 11 times the value and return to the society when it's integrated correctly or when there's a long-term partnership. So we have long-term trusts and institutions who derive partnerships with us to bring about sustainable change that my fellows have been talking about. Sustainable change can only not be brought about by bringing in policy and frameworks, but inclusion is the key, especially in a country like India where the nuances are so diverse. So without considering the informal workforce and other aspects of society, sustainability cannot be achieved. Thank you.
Yeah. So Tanish, quickly, one line. How can donation offset carbon?
How can donation offset carbon?
Or you can say, how can funding offset carbon?
Okay, so I'll add 3 lines instead.
Yeah.
But if you see, so donors play a crucial role in early age, funding early age climate solutions. Investors play a crucial role in taking it from technology readiness level from 4 to 5 to commercialization. And consumers also will play a crucial role in not being skeptical about the technology and adopting it. Thank you.
Thank you. 2 lines you did it. Thank you so much. Okay. Coming towards the end of the panel, I have 2 questions. One, on how do we see ESG driving long-term vision and growth of the country and also globally? So I think I'll invite Venkatesan sir to speak about this, and Tanish, you can add on.
Yeah, as we are nearing to the lunch hour, I don't want to take much of your time. In a short, ESG and sustainability will be the backbone of India's net zero success. There is no second opinion on this. It is going to shape how fast, how rapidly, and how competitively the country can achieve decarbonize.
Yeah.
Henceforth, ESG and sustainability will be the backbone. There is no second opinion. Added together, henceforth the winners will be those winners in corporates, winners in business will be those who treat net zero as a core business transformation, not a compliance target. And these are all the 2 things which I want to sum it up.
Thank you so much. So Tanish, any views on how long-term success will be?
Correct. So there are 3 core themes. One is strategic planning, involving it in all aspects of your business. Second is operational efficiency. And third is also including the element of climate risk management. Because all your assets today and all the components of your business today are definitely going to be affected. And there are scenario modeling tools available that definitely help you map out what the impact on your business looks like till 2100. So doing all of these things and embedding it into your ecosystem will ensure long-term success for your business. Thank you.
Coming to the last question, but not the least, I was very much taken aback by Dr. Bandyopadhyay's video in the morning. And sometimes, not sometimes, often in our pursuit of growth and success and overall development, we sometimes ignore these bottom of the pyramid situations. Sorry. So I would ask Henal and Tanish again, and maybe Pramod, you can chip in. How do we ensure our informal workforce is included in our drive towards sustainability, and how do we take care of marginalized groups?
So it is actually heartening to know 90% of the workforce in Mumbai forms the informal workforce, who are left out of all these compliances and the regulations. So in my opinion, ESG is not just about environment and protecting the governance and following policies and frameworks. It is actually about protecting the people of our country. And when you bring people to the center of it, whether it is, a person who delivers your food or the person who delivers the package to you, when you center policies and practices around them, automatically you're able to achieve half the battle that you have set to, put.
Thank you.
Go forward with.
Tanish.
Definitely. So inclusion is definitely not just a social responsibility. It is a systems issue, right? Because now if you see, most of the workforce is informal that works in sustainability as well. So how do we include them, right? So if you see, I'll give you one example. So if you see, we have an MRV tool for helping you build carbon credits. Now carbon credits is like an advanced version of CSR where you're building the same nature-based solutions but for monetary benefit as well, right? So in that, if you have a centralized command center with a decentralized approach where you're also including farmers, any marginalized communities into it, it will from the strategic planning of the project to the implementation, because your entire execution is going to be dependent on them, and if there are not stakeholders included in the strategic planning aspect, then your project has a high probability of falling apart. Thank you.
Dr. Pramod, any last words for this?
Just a couple of points I would like to highlight. Because these things are based on the company to company, and it should be risk based, and you have to plan your plan in line with your business goal. where you want to go. Just classical example take in the Uber and Ola. First things they are asking where you want to go. When we are going to give the destination, they will give the safest, cheapest and fastest route. The similar things applicable to here. Based on the risk appetite of the organization, we have to identify where we want to go, where we want to achieve. And first and foremost important part is improve what you have. There are lots of resources. If you are going to ask Nobel finance controller, first things they will ask why you need. What is the ROI, blah, blah, blah. First work, what is the resources you are using? First work on that particular part. So these are the 2 points from my side.
Thank you. I hope this was a very enriched discussion for the audience.
Navinder, I have a rapid fire message to the audience.
Yeah.
What ESG and sustainability means going forward.
Yes.
ESG is not a parallel agenda going to be. It is the foundation of sustainability for prosperity, for India and for the planet. And how we are going to bring in CSR along with the ESG and going to make prosper, not only decarbonizing, how we are going to associate ourselves with the complete society as an India. What Madam was talking about it, how we are going to improve the standard of quality of living of not only the poor people, but also at every level, how are we going to protect the country from ESG point of view. So it is not a parallel agenda, it is going to be the part of the boardroom agenda and everyone is going to be monitored by that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Just to add, sustainability must therefore not be measured only by carbon reduced, but by vulnerabilities reduced. Thank you.
Any last words, Gauravi?
So what I talk about ESG and sustainability and CSR is all part of our day-to-day life, and it's not a separate agenda to drive, neither at home nor at the work. It starts from me with the way I segregate waste at a home and start utilizing the RO reject water to wash my vessels. Those are the 2 things that I start with. And if I'm purchasing a house, does it have a rainwater harvesting system or not? And then I would question my organization, hey, how can we reduce our water? Can I implement zero liquid discharge? Can I use in AHU? Can I have a water flushing system in that, right? So everything is an integrated part of an ecosystem for our future generation, because the way we were having a food and our ancestors had a food versus what our kids are going to have is going to be very, very different. So please integrate as a part of your backbone of a system and not as a separate agenda to drive neither at home nor at work.
Excellently spoken. I think that entitles me to give last words for myself also. Okay. My only consideration is, in all the forums I've been attending last 2 years, talk is around humans. We have stopped thinking about other species. Our life is there. We are alive because not only because of ourselves, because of so many species around us. Right from the earthworms to the fishes to the butterflies to moths to the so many of them who are doing their bit to keep the system alive. Sometimes we have to be inclusive around them also. In fact, while writing my book, Bring Your Own Shark, I did a research on sharks, and I was very, very aghast to find out there are 100 million sharks being killed every year, just for the shark fins. And sharks are the top predator of the oceans who keep the sustainability of the oceans alive. So this is one example I'm giving you. So just, I wanted to, open the horizons and start thinking about all this, because we are not the only inhabitants of the planet. In fact, in one of my posts on LinkedIn, I have put out that maybe we are the aliens on the planet. With that, I bring this panel to the end. Oh, you must.
So I'll just leave you with one sentence. In a world driven by monetization, if you build for community, the impact monetization will follow. Thank you.